and welcome. I'm so excited about this episode because we're going to talk about the secret to finally getting consistent with exercise. And really quickly, before we jump in, I want to go over the typical disclaimers to make it very clear that I am not a certified personal trainer. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. And so I am not here to tell you exactly what exercises work best for your body. And I always recommend, if you're going to start a new exercise routine, to consult with a medical professional. I am really just here to focus on talking about my journey and sharing with you my journey of how I went from years and years of yo-yoing with, we've talked about this in previous episodes, both my diet and my exercise, to now being able to be consistent and sustainable, and it's life-changing. So we're just going to talk about the tips and tricks on how to get there, how to make this a consistent and sustainable habit for you, and how to stop the starting and stopping over and over again, yo-yoing with exercise. Essentially, that's the position that I'm looking at it from. Not going to be telling you what types of exercise to do or what types of weights to lift or not lift. That's, of course, up to you to find out what works best for you and what works best for your body, and making sure that you don't get injured, all of that good stuff. So what I want to start with right off the bat is I want us to stop calling it exercise and start referring to it as body movement. And the reason that I like to do that is it takes the pressure off. For me personally, and for a lot of the women who I've coached and worked with, the term exercise, it has a stigma to it. You think of exercise as it needs to be hard, you need to get sweaty, you need to be sore the next day. That's kind of what I personally think of when I think of the word exercise. But when I think of the word body movement, or the term body movement, I think more literally, as in moving my body. And that shift in language, because remember, the whole chain of thoughts, words, actions, habits and beliefs, and then that becomes our life. We've talked about this multiple times in previous episodes so far, right? If we can think about it differently and use different words, that can turn into different actions. That is so very incredibly real. And so if we can start using the term body movement instead of exercise, I think it sets us up for a really healthy mindset about body movement. So that's what I'm going to try my best to refer to it as. This is something that I've been doing for a few years, but I still sometimes call it exercise or a workout. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with those terms. They're not bad in any way. They're totally fine. I just like shifting it to body movement because body movement is much more sustainable, and you're able to stay more consistent than you are what we typically think of culturally as exercise, holding up air quotes of exercise. So love the mindset shift. So work on that. And the reality is, health and longevity come from body movement, not exercise specifically. And this is proven in all of the blue zone studies. So when they study the regions of the world where the people live the longest and healthiest lives, the number one top thing they have in common are relationships. And I think I've talked about that before in a previous episode of the podcast, but the number two they have in common is body movement. And these folks aren't they're not like weightlifters or going to the gym or ultra runners or anything like that. They're just people who have continued to move their body as they've aged. So there are people who work in fields or farms, and that's part of their lifestyle. They have to go out and walk to get their food, or they grow their own food. Things like that are what tend to pop up because continuing to move our body is critical as we age to I can rattle off so many of the things. Avoiding injury, heart health, keeping muscle on our body, which is so important for not getting injured when we fall, brain health. Literally the list goes on and on and on, the benefits of just moving your body, just getting your blood flowing in your body and using your muscles and moving your skeleton and your muscles. All of those things, massive health benefits to those. They are the number one is relationships, and body movement is number two for the people who live the longest and healthiest lives. And I just think that is so incredibly important. And another thing that comes along with this is shifting the mindset. Okay. And that's the first official topic on the agenda. I kind of wanted to start with just reframing the term to body movement. But what we're going to cover in this episode is shifting the goal and shifting your mindset, letting go of the all or nothing mindset, learning what works for you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about routine and consistency. So as it relates to shifting the mindset, shifting the goal, when I mentioned that the Blue Zone studies, the number 2 thing that they all have in common is body movement. This aligns with shifting the goal and the mindset away from weight loss and over to health. So it's not that body movement causes us to lose weight and then because we've lost weight, we're more healthy. That's not how it works. That's how diet culture would have us believe that it works, that we are unhealthy because we have fat on our body. That's actually not true. You can have fat on your body and still be perfectly healthy. I know I say this all the time. I'm a perfect example of this. I am obese on the BMI scale. I have fat on my body. I have a decent percentage of body fat, yet I am healthy in every way. I move my body 6 times a week, eat lots of nutritious foods, and all of my blood stats are good and healthy, and I monitor all of that stuff. And they haven't been as good in the past when I was dieting and when I did weigh less and when I was restricting my foods. So I have seen that change, and lots of other women have seen that change, that when they take away the stress, the mental stress of restriction and fixating on weight loss, their blood stats and their health actually improves. And that is something that has happened to me. So it's not this whole chain effect that society would have us think, where you move your body more, then you lose weight, and because you've lost the weight, you're healthier. That's not it. Having fat on your body doesn't inherently make you less or more healthy than anyone else, right? Just as having a thin body doesn't mean you're healthy. Thin people can be unhealthy and fat people can be healthy. That is absolutely a thing. It's studied in the book, Health at Every Size. Multiple scientific studies have proven it. And so we have to shift our mindset away from, I have to lose fat in order to be healthy. Fat or not fat does not make you healthy or not healthy. It is your healthy habits that make you healthy or not healthy. Okay, let's just repeat that. It's your healthy habits that make you healthy or not healthy, not whether or not your body has fat on it. So we have to shift our goal away from weight loss and over to health. This is really, really difficult to do. And it's really scary because we think if I stop trying to lose weight, I am going to gain 300 pounds and die. That's what I thought when I started all of this, right? It's a very scary thing. Or it can be scary from a health perspective for many of us, and it can be scary from a looks perspective for many of us. Because if we give up the battle to lose weight, it means we are accepting our current body and the way it looks. Okay. And that is a really scary thing because society has brainwashed us that we have to look a certain way to have value and worth. But the truth is, your value and your worth has nothing to do with what your body looks like. Absolutely nothing. If you lose 30 pounds, your life is not going to change. It's not going to change. You're going to still have all the same loved ones and family and friends. You're going to have the same job. It's not going to change. Now, there are certainly cases where weight loss will change someone's life. We cannot ignore that. Okay, if you think of somebody who is 400, 500, 600 pounds, losing a significant amount of that body fat is going to change their life because it will help them to move more, to move better throughout life. It will help them. It will benefit them. There is no denying that. However, we know because it's been proven, 95% of folks who start out with the intention of weight loss as their goal will fail. So even if you do fall into that category where you have significantly more weight on your body and it would change your life to lose a significant amount of weight, focusing on weight loss is not the path to it. It all comes back to focusing on healthy habits. Weight loss may be a side effect of that. It may not. The vast majority of us fall into a category where losing the weight we want to lose is truly not going to change our life. We think it will because we think it'll make us look a certain way. And we think that will change our life. But the truth is, if you don't like your body now, the chances are that if you lose the amount of weight that you want to lose, you're not going to like your body then either. If you're one of the 5% and you lose the weight and you can keep it off, you may feel better depending on how much extra weight you are carrying around, but it's still not going to be enough. Because remember, I say this so much, but it's worth repeating a million times. The cure for negative body image is not weight loss. The cure for negative body image is mindset. It is accepting and respecting your current body and believing that your value and your worth has nothing to do with the way you look. So I know that's all scary. What happens when you are able to shift this goal away from weight loss, you're able to be brave and go for it, let go of the brainwashing of society. And we're going to do this in baby steps, right? This whole program is helping you to reprogram that subconscious. When you can let go of that, body movement becomes easier to sustain and be more consistent. And let's talk about why that is. Why, when you let go of your focus being on weight loss and you shift it over to health, why body movement becomes easier to sustain. Number one, it's because you're no longer measuring your success, I'm using air quotes on success, by the scale. If you're not weighing yourself anymore because you're not focused on weight loss, and you start a new body movement program, you're going to keep going longer because you're not going to be measuring success based on the scale. Because how many of us, I'm raising my hand, have started a new body movement program? It's hard for me to not say exercise right there. It's such a habit, a new exercise or workout routine, right? We can say that, it's fine. A new body movement routine. You started something new. And you do it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometime around that period. And it feels quite difficult. You've changed your schedule. You've changed your routine. It takes work and it takes some willpower. And then you weigh yourself and you've not lost any weight. And you're angry and you're like, why am I doing this? It's hard. I don't want to do it. And I'm not getting any benefit out of it because the scale didn't move, right? How many of us have done that? I know I've certainly done it multiple times in my life. Well, the reality is you're getting massive benefits from the body movement routine that you've started. You're getting brain health, heart health, cardiovascular health, mood. You're able to process stress more through body movement. Your blood's just flowing through your body. You're gaining muscle. There are so many benefits. I mean, the list goes on and on and on from that. I'm just rattling off some of the top ones. Disease avoidance. The benefit that you're getting from that body movement you've started has absolutely nothing to do with that scale. Because remember, it doesn't work in the way society would have us believe. It's not that you move your body, then you lose weight, then you're healthier. It's not that. It's you move your body, then you're healthier. The weight doesn't matter in that instance. It just absolutely doesn't. And I know that's just such a hard thing for us to believe because we've just been brainwashed by this billion-dollar industry because they make so much money off us believing that the health is in the weight loss. The health is not in the weight loss, it's in the healthy habits. I know I'm getting annoying how many times I'm saying that, but it is just so true and so critical and so important. So that's one of the reasons why shifting our focus away from the scale and weight loss and over to actual true health helps us sustain movement, because we're not going to quit and give up because the scale didn't move. We're going to go longer. We're going to sustain it longer. Okay? All right. The next reason, shifting our focus away from weight loss and over to true health is going to make body movement more sustainable, is because we don't put the pressure on ourselves to do the types of body movement that we've been trained burn a ton of calories or make our body look a certain way or will lead to weight loss. So these are things like intense cardio sessions that are just exhausting. So running or very intense cardio classes or very intense weightlifting sessions when we're super sore the next day. And here's the thing, I am not saying those are bad, but if you hate those, they are bad because you're not going to sustain them. You're not going to sustain body movement that you hate. And the reality is there are more and more studies being done that show, especially for women, depending on what point in your cycle you're in your menstrual cycle, what point you're in, Those types of very rigorous, very strenuous exercises can cause adrenal fatigue and can really not be great on our system. There are times during the cycle where it's fine to do those. And, it depends on how you feel. But learning to listen to how your body feels and what types of movement makes sense for you when in your cycle is a complete game changer. And there's a book, I've mentioned it in the podcast before, called In the Flow by Alyssa Vitti. That is really good. I'll link that book and Health at Every Size in the show notes if you want to check those out. So when you shift away from the thought that exercise has to equal an hour of getting my butt kicked in the gym and dripping sweat, all of a sudden it becomes so much more sustainable because you're not putting that pressure on yourself. You're allowing yourself to do things that you don't hate, to do body movement that you don't hate, if that makes sense. All right, so that's all about shifting the goal. Now let's talk about, I want to talk a little bit more in shifting the goal. Let's talk about as it relates to health, which I just discussed, but also strength and how you feel. So one of the things that moving my goal away from weight loss allowed me to do was really start to notice how different types of body movement and foods, for that matter, which I talked about in the last episodes on intuitive eating, how they actually affected my mood, how I felt on a daily basis, my energy levels. If you shift your focus over to how you feel and strength and feeling strong and good in life, that is also a game changer. And those things are important for health too, because mental health is a huge component of our overall health, which is why relationships are number one on common factors in the blue zones where people live the longest and healthiest lives. It's relationships, it's community. Human beings need a sense of community or relationship for good mental health and to sort of stay motivated and happy in life. And by the way, that doesn't mean that you have to be married. There are lots of different ways that you can get that sense of community relationship. Pets are actually a great one. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent, squirrel moment. So shifting your goal away from weight loss and over to strength, health, and how you feel is a complete game changer. So I know that's hard and scary, but I promise if you continue to work on that, you will be much more likely to maintain consistent, healthy habits, which will make you healthier regardless of what your weight does. Okay? All right, let's talk now about letting go of the all or nothing mindset. And in order to let go of the all or nothing mindset, I really do think you have to shift your focus away from weight loss, because being so fixated on weight loss and how our bodies look is a big part of having the all or nothing mindset. So first and foremost, walking is amazing as a form of exercise, body movement. Remember, that's why I like to call it body movement. It literally just means moving your body. And for years, I thought walking was a waste of time because it didn't make me sweat or burn enough calories. I really believed that. And it wasn't until I went on this journey learning how to accept my body and focus on health that I realized and started to read and learn about the amazing health benefits of walking. And it's funny because a lot of us say just walking. Oh, I just walked. And right there, I wanted to say the amazing health benefits of just, holding up air quotes, walking. And we got to remove the just in front of walking. We got to remove the disclaimer because it is such an amazing form of exercise, especially for someone who is just starting out. If you have not done body movement for a significant amount of time, walking is the most amazing way to start to get consistent. And even if you just start with 5 minutes, just get up, put on your shoes, walk out your door for 5 minutes, or maybe you walk 5 minutes and then turn around and come back. A lot of us think, well, that's silly. There's no impact to that. That's a waste of time. It sure isn't, because remember the message that I keep driving home throughout this whole series, throughout the Working Mom Happiness Method program, is that small, consistent actions done over long periods of time will change your life. And walking is the most perfect example. And at the very simplest, one of the main reasons for that is that it turns you into someone who exercises or someone who moves their body. Your brain, your subconscious mind, once you start walking consistently, starts to believe that you are a person who exercises. And that's massive because that's that subconscious reprogramming where we want our subconscious minds to feel positive about ourselves rather than negative about ourselves. And that's a very positive thing for your subconscious to believe about you. I am a person who exercises regularly. I am a person who does body movement regularly. And walking counts. So getting your brain to believe that is the first step to potentially increasing that into more or different types of body movement that you can try out to figure out what is sustainable for you, because sustainability is the absolute key. So when we think about healthy habits, diet culture would have us feeling like we have to do an extreme or restrictive program to lose a few pounds, and then we can stop, and then we can start something. And, typically we gain that weight back, and then we can start something again, right? This is how diet culture makes the money. This is how the diet and beauty industry and fitness industry makes the billions and billions of dollars, is that none of this stuff is sustainable. None of the major diets that we hear about or the super difficult exercise programs are sustainable. The truth is, if you want to be healthy, you have to choose healthy habits that you can do for the rest of your life. And I don't mean that to sound like doomsday-ish. It just is reality. So whatever healthy habit you're choosing to start, you have to ask yourself every time, am I willing to do this for the rest of my life? Bottom line, period. Am I willing to do this for the rest of my life? That is why diets like keto, just quite frankly, they suck. They're awful because you can't not eat carbs for the rest of your life. And I promise you, as soon as you start to do it again, you're going to gain all the weight back and you're not going to feel good. So you have to ask yourself when you're starting something, is this something I can sustain for the rest of my life? And you have to be very realistic with yourself about it. That's why walking is so great and so amazing, because most of us can sustain that for the rest of our lives. Okay. So that's something to really keep in mind. So you're reprogramming that subconscious mind. You're becoming a person who does consistent body movement just by starting with a walk. Even if you just do 5 minutes a few times a week, that's amazing. Small progress over time, small consistent actions over time will change your life. I promise. The tricky part is you have to trust in it and continue doing it long enough. And you have to stop looking at that scale, because if you use that as the indicator for success here, you're going to quit. And that is not the indicator for success here. Even starting with 5 minutes of walking a day is going to improve your health. I promise it will. And then you can increase it from there. As it starts to get more of a habit, you have your timing down that you want to do it. You're going to start to make more time. You're going to feel better. It really is going to be a game changer. I promise. Okay. Before we jump into the next piece of this, I just want to quickly interrupt us just to talk a little bit about the ways that you can work with me if you're wanting something more than just listening to the podcast, if you're really wanting to dive into this in a customized way. So I work with people in two different ways. First, I have one-on-one coaching programs. And so we go through the Working Mom Happiness Method, and we meet every week for 10 weeks. We meet for an hour, and we jump into your specific areas that you're wanting to work on, and we apply the program to those specific areas. And so I currently have 2 spots available as I'm recording this right now. What month is it? It's April of 2022. Right now I have 2 spots open for one-on-one coaching. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website, the link's in the show notes, and you can see all the information. There's a little form you can fill out, and then we can talk to see if it's the right fit for you. So you can work with me one-on-one. And then the second way to work with me is if you are somebody who is a leader at your company, or you own your own business and you have a group of employees who would benefit from taking the program together, I do group sessions for companies. Would love to work with you in that way. Or if you would want your company to do that for you, please just get me in touch with whoever the leader might be or the decision maker might be on that. And I would be happy to talk to them and see if we can work something out. So those are the 2 ways that I work with people. I've worked with many, many ladies one-on-one and worked in a group as well. And all the ways have been life-changing for these women, which I'm so excited about. It makes me so happy because I'm so passionate about it. So I just wanted to interrupt quickly and let you know those couple of extra ways that you can work with me if you're wanting to go deeper and you want a little bit more accountability and a little bit more customization than the podcast. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about as it relates to this sustainable body movement is figuring out what works for you. So this involves trying lots of different things. And I would recommend trying lots of different things at different times in your monthly cycle as well. because the week that leads up to your period and the week of your period, you're going to want to be doing less rigorous, slower body movements. You could do slow weightlifting or slow yoga, go for walks, things like that. And then the week after your period and then the next week, so the first 2 weeks after your period, those are the times where you can go a lot harder if you want to, if you're somebody who enjoys that. You certainly don't have to do that to be healthy. But if you're somebody who likes to go to a really tough class and that feels good to you, or you like to do a really tough sweat sesh at the gym by yourself, that's awesome and totally good. But start to pay attention to, do you dread it? Does it energize you? Does it exhaust you? When are you doing it during your cycle? There's an app that comes with that in the Flow book. Well, it doesn't come with it. You have to purchase it separately. I think it's like $2. But the In the Flow app is awesome. And that will help track and tell you where, based on where you're at in your cycle, what types of exercise would make sense for you or not. And then you can try it out for yourself and start paying attention to that. But some other things to consider are, do you prefer to do your body movement inside or outside? If you're walking, do you prefer a treadmill where you can watch TV, or do you like to go outside? I personally love both. I love going for my outside walks. I pop in a podcast. It's so funny that funny is not the right word, but it's actually sad. It's so sad that I put off walking for so many years because I was so fixated on weight loss and I didn't think it was hard enough. Now that I've shifted that over, I love walking. I actually look forward to my walks. And sometimes I'll walk for an hour, and don't get where I don't want you to compare yourself to me. You don't have to walk for an hour, but if I'm listening to a good podcast and I have the time and it's nice outside, I really, really enjoy that. And I never thought I would be a person who loved walking. So that was a real shocker to me. But I also have a little treadmill that goes in my bedroom that I can walk on while I watch my shows. And so that's great too, especially in winter, if it's dark or cold or snowing or whatever, I can hop on that treadmill and I can get 20 minutes done just while I'm watching a show after dinner. The other thing is that walking after you eat really aids in digestion. So that's another good focus area away from weight loss. One of the benefits of body movement is better digestion that I didn't rattle off before. That's a massive one. So think about, do you like inside or outside? Play around with this, really know yourself. Do you like to work out at a gym or at home? What makes you more comfortable? What is easier for you schedule-wise? Are you this type of person who needs to go to a gym in order to make yourself do it? Or are you the person who it's just easier to do at home because you don't have to drive to the gym? Do you like weightlifting? Do you like yoga? One interesting thing about yoga, I used to hate yoga, but that's because I always thought I had to do power yoga or advanced yoga in order to burn enough calories to lose weight. Once I let go of weight loss and did beginner yoga classes, I was like, this is kind of amazing. I love these. Or yoga for stretching. That is absolutely still body movement, and you're getting health benefits from doing that. And I've had women in my programs who've started simply doing 10 minutes of stretching as their body movement, and it has alleviated pain in their body, gotten rid of headaches just from stretching. I don't even want to say just, because it's body movement. That's literally what we're talking about, is moving your body. So play around with these things in a way that you've never looked at them before, and look at them truly as body movement is what will improve your health, and start there. Do you like to do classes? Do you like to work out with other people around you, or would you prefer to do it yourself? Do you like some kind of an accountability partner? Are you more likely to do it if you have somebody waiting for you, right? All these things, I know these are things that you've heard before, but I want you to look at them in a new light where it's truly related to sustainability and health, and allowing yourself to find things that you don't hate. You don't have to love them. You don't have to love them. So for me, even though I really do enjoy walking, most mornings I would rather stay in my bed. I would rather sleep longer than go out for my walk, right? So there is a component of this to really paying attention to how it makes you feel and the benefits you're getting from it, and using that instead of willpower or motivation, which is fleeting. It's keeping this underlying drive because it makes your overall life better and happier when you push yourself to get out of bed to do these things. But I can tell you, it's so much easier to push yourself to get out of bed when you don't hate the thing that you're about to go do. It becomes a gate changer. So find things that you don't hate. If you can find things you love, even better, amazing. But if you can't, that's not like a reason to not do this. Just find things you don't hate that are sustainable, things that you can do for the rest of your life. And to clarify, when I say do them for the rest of your life, if you really love hardcore power yoga right now, and you know you're not going to be able to do that when you're 85, that's okay. I'm not saying don't do the yoga. You'll just adjust the yoga over time, right? Sustainable just means you're willing to do it for the rest of your life. It means it's not so crazy and you don't hate it, or it's not super restrictive. You're willing to keep doing it. And you can create it as a habit. All right, let's talk a little bit about routine and consistency, and then I'll wrap us up because I know we're hitting the 30-minute mark right now. So a routine is really, really important and really beneficial. Some people don't need it. Most people do need it. So be really honest with yourself. If you can find a consistent time to get your body movement in, you're going to set yourself up for success. And I highly recommend doing it in the morning. If you're a busy person, a busy working mom, you're just setting yourself up for success by doing it before everybody wakes up, before your day gets stressful, before something changes, before you can't get it in, before you get too tired. I highly recommend doing it in the morning, even if you are not a morning person and you don't enjoy it. Now, if you are somebody who you don't have a problem consistently getting it in at a time that is not in the morning, maybe you do it on your lunch hour at work or right after work, that's fine. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just continue on. But most of us will be most successful getting it done and getting it out of the way in the morning. I am not a morning person. I never used to like to exercise in the morning, but I have shifted it over to this, and it has been a huge factor in me successfully having sustainable and consistent exercise. All right. And then consistency is the key. Absolutely. I know I've mentioned this a million times. Small, consistent actions done over long periods of time will change your life. And it's the same with body movement. And it makes it so much easier to sustain when you don't stop. It's harder to keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting than it is to keep it going. And letting go of weight loss as the goal really is the secret to that. It is the secret to continuing on because you are committed to your health. You're committed to your health, not the way that your body looks, but to your actual health, because that is truly, truly what matters. You need your health to be around for the people who you love and want to spend the rest of your life with, and they don't care what your body looks like. They love you regardless. You are worthy and you are valuable no matter what your body looks like. They love you. Your health matters. It really does. The way your body looks doesn't matter. All right. I know it's hard. It's a hard one, but it really is true. You're worth it. All right. I'm going to wrap us up because I have gone a little bit over the 30 minutes. So just a recap of the most important things. The health benefits you get from moving your body are incredible and not related to weight loss or looks at all. Small, consistent body movement over time will change your life. Having a consistent routine and being in it for the long haul will set you up for success. So your homework is to try some different things and start figuring out what works best for you. Maybe target 5 to 10 minutes 3 times a week. 30 minutes is a great goal, by the way. To get up to 30 minutes of body movement most days that's an amazing goal, and it's enough. 3 to 5 times a week, even better, but it's baby steps. Start with the small things and baby step into something that you can sustain for the rest of your life, okay? Thanks so much for listening. As always, please spread the word, because the more people who are leaving positive comments or following, subscribing, liking, all of the things, depending on where you're watching or listening to this, the more people that the algorithm shows. And that's what I want to do, is just spread the message. So thank you, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to the Working Mom Happiness Method. If you liked what you heard, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit from listening. For show notes or to enroll in the Working Mom Happiness Method coaching courses, visit www.womensbestlifeuniversity.com.